Sally Morgan claims she can receive messages from the dead and deliver them to the living.
Lent in spirit?
Yes.
Are you Jackie?
Yes.
He's waving.
Famous for being one of Britain's best-loved psychics, she's performing to crowds of thousands on a nationwide tour.
It's my granddad.
It is your granddad.
Yeah.
Today, Sally's heading north to Sheffield,
If I hit a load of traffic, I will not be happy.
where she hopes to make contact with the dead, or perhaps they'll make contact with her.
Well, there are occasions when, you know, and I've done it, and it's happened on stage, when a spirit will come through and they're being mischievous and they'll touch my leg or they'll try to tickle up my skirt. Occasionally I'll get a lecherous old spirit that will try and tickle me, or they'll tickle my back or try and touch my boob. It's bad enough having the living trying to touch you, which of course all the time people are trying to touch me. Because I'm so beautiful.
Let's hope there'll be no funny business at tonight's venue. Sheffield City Hall, where Sally has just enough time to put her feet up.
Sit down. Look at me Jesus sandals that I've got on. Then that was comfort. I had heels on when I got in the car, and then when the car starts, says John, oh, you've got to get me Jesus sandals out. So very appropriate that a medium should be wearing Jesus sandals.
Hey, hey, 1, 2, hey, hey.
As the crew prepare for the show,
Scream.
Sally senses that some of her guests are ahead of schedule.
Just can hear someone saying Helen all the time. So already they're arriving. Well, they can just stay there for the moment. I'm going to put my makeup on and get my hair done.
It's a huge night tonight, with over 1,000 people looking forward to Sally's performance.
I would feel absolutely fantastic if a message came to us from Sally Morgan tonight, from a loved one that's passed away. Delighted.
If I got a message tonight, I'd be walking out of these doors with a big smile on my face.
But they're not all believers. Some are yet to be convinced.
I've come with an open mind. Quite sceptical about this.
Yeah, slightly sceptical. Do and don't. We'll just wait to see how she pans out.
I was kind of persuaded to come along tonight because somebody said, well, you've been mouthing off for long enough about not believing, why not just come and actually see what happens? So that's what I'm here to do.
So the pressure is on for Sally.
Hello, everyone. It's so busy on evenings like this, so I try to get to as many of you as possible. Is there anyone called Chelsea? Ooh, you're over this side. Chelsea.
Yeah, it's my name.
And if I said to you leaking? You're not leaking, darling. I don't understand what I'm hearing here. I thought it might have been even a name. I can only give a message if I get some sort of feedback, because then you create the link and it can travel. Gary. Lee? Gary Lee. Gary Lee?
It's not getting off to a great start.
Hello, darling.
Hello.
Hello. Well, you know that as I looked at you, I don't know why, I wanted to say Yvonne, but I have no idea why. And you don't have a friend in spirit with that name?
No.
Every single show, there is something different about it. And it's light and shade. And it doesn't mean that I'm no good, and I certainly don't beat myself up about it. It doesn't mean the audience no good, it just means that the audience react differently. Was there anybody in the family, this is a big thing for me to say, that had Down syndrome?
Not that I know of, no.
Oh, I've got a Rainy, Lorraine. This is this lady. I want to thank this lady here. Let's thank you, darling. Do you know, for me, even if I got one special moment, that's enough for me, because it means someone went home and I spoke to their relative.
And Sheffield doesn't have to wait long.
Rainy, Rainy.
Lorraine, but we used to call her Rainy.
Stell.
My name's Stella, and Lorraine was my sister. I had a Down syndrome sister who died earlier this year. Her name was Lorraine, but she couldn't speak properly, and she used to say Yane.
Was there a stick that she had, or did she used to point with something?
Yes.
What was it?
It was like a little fairy wand.
She has it in spirit, darling. So she's doing that to everybody. Make sure all the photographs are put in an album.
Right.
Make sure everything is in a book.
Yes. At the moment, I'm just having some photographs done on memorial cards.
Now, I don't really talk about angels because I know what real angels are, and they're not necessarily what we imagine in our head or fluffy. They can be men, they can be huge, and they are mind-blowing if you ever experience anything like it. And people that experience a near-death experience will often talk of real angels. Lorraine is with a real angel. You're going to be okay, darling. Everything's going to be all right. You're going to dream of your sister tonight, and she's going to be with you. She just made me laugh then, because she just did a pop-pop. Literally, as I was finishing the message, I walked away, and at home we call them pop-pop, you know, when my grandchildren pass wind. And it was like, pop-pop, and she smiled at me. She did all right, darling, doesn't matter, she's smiling. Let's thank this lady.
She was really cheeky, and a really cheeky attitude about her. And she would walk along, and she would pass away, and then she'd giggle, as if somebody else had done it.
After a tough beginning, the show is turned around.
There, I'm over here. Say hello to me. No, your mic. Your mic's upside down. Who's Becky or Rebecca?
Meg.
And do you know a Barry in spirit?
Yeah, it's my uncle.
Connected to Sheila is also the name Den. And she died of cancer.
Yeah.
Sheila's fine where she is. Did you have something that you did with Kian?
Yeah.
What was that?
The flowers that the flower fairies.
Was he born on the 5th?
Yeah.
And it's spooky.
Yeah.
I can give messages all night long and possibly talk gobbledygook if no one's going to take it, but that's not what it's about. Evenings like this are about validation. Not for me, I'm convinced. It's for them. Daisy May. Daisy May. I've got someone here called Paul. Well, I shouldn't have gone. Jane, it's that Jane again. Hello.
Hello.
How does Daisy May mean something to you?
Paul's my brother-in-law who's passed over.
He's here.
His daughter is now pregnant, and the name she's chosen is Daisy May.
And who's Shell?
Shelley is Paul's daughter who's having the baby.
Paul's here, darling. I shouldn't be here.
No, he shouldn't.
I shouldn't be here.
He died very young. I've got a brother-in-law, Paul, who's passed over at the age of 36. So we're right in what she said about, no, he shouldn't be there.
He wants to say that he can see everything. And he wants so much to let the whole family know that he is safe where he is. He says everything was open-ended. Nobody could put a lid on anything because everyone was asking questions about his death. Is that right?
Yeah, because he went so sudden and so young. It just stunned everybody.
Paul died of a heart attack in 1995 whilst working locally in a Sheffield steelworks.
Who's Jane?
Me.
You're Jane. He shouted your name when I came on. He says, "What are you doing here?" What are you doing? Well, she's here listening to me. He wants to say that he's surprised to see you.
He would.
How funny.
It would definitely be.
Is he not a psychic junkie then, Jane?
No.
Loves you. Blowing kisses to you. I have to say, you know, I felt as if I'm in a room all on my own. And I feel as if I want someone to open the door. This is literal. So I'm in a room. He was in a room. There was no one else in there, and he wanted the door to open. He wanted to see somebody. Does that make sense to you?
When we went to the hospital, he were already dead.
He'd already gone.
Mm-hmm. And he were in a room all on his own.
Thank you very much, darling. Let's thank this lady.
To get a message that is personal to yourself, you cannot not believe, because it does really bring it home, especially when it is so, like, on the mark, and she brings names through and things that she couldn't know.
Good night, God bless, and thank you. Thank you very much. Tonight was a tough gig. You know, I think it just goes to show how they differ, how audiences differ.
After one of the most difficult shows of the tour, Sheffield is not left disappointed.
As far as I'm concerned, everything that she said was spot on.
I wasn't overly impressed, but I've totally changed my opinion. I think she's fantastic, really.
If they get a personal message from a medium, I can't see an argument there. It's proof in the pudding, isn't it?
I came a sceptic. I'm going sceptical, but perhaps a little less than I was before.
Whether a believer or a skeptic, tonight's performance has certainly made an impression. Back on the road, Sally has time to reflect on the pressures of working with a live audience.
Everything is scrutinised, every single thing. So, you know, I don't think I do a bad job. I think I'm very good at what I do. I'll never, ever stop people from criticising me. I'm never going to stop people accusing me of guessing. That always makes me laugh, because it's like, right, of guessing, of, you know, doing stuff to get them plants in the audience. Why would I even want to do that? Why would I want to? Why would I want to risk exposure like... I mean, it just doesn't even warrant an answer, and that is the truth.
Coming up, Sally claims to hear from the women behind the great Christopher Biggins.
This isn't your mother, is it?
Everything she said about this woman was absolutely true, and she was a great influence on my life.